Could the Bitcoin price potentially be running into a bull trap before the halving, which is set to commence in roughly 2 weeks' time? Let's dive in and analyze. What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Crypto Kirby here, your cryptocurrency expert, back with another edition of the daily live stream. Today we're going to discuss the Bitcoin price and the action inside the chart right now. Clearly, from this perspective, my friends, we see a potential bearish rising wedge pattern. We're going to discuss this, and when we look at this from the very polar opposite perspective, we could see here that we are in what could be a bull flag pattern with a target up towards the $9,000 region. We're going to discuss both perspectives and, of course, the halving, my friends, which is getting ready to occur here in about 2 weeks' time. There's some interesting things to talk about, considering the fact that the Bitcoin block reward is about to get cut in half. This is going to affect miner profitability, and it could have a large impact on the price. And I want to discuss some possible scenarios here of what I believe could potentially happen around that date, okay? So as a full-time trader, I'd like to discuss with you my strategy, my game plan, and how I plan to crush this market right now in the immediate term. So without any further ado, you guys already know the deal. If you like these daily crypto videos and nightly live streams, smack that thumbs up button, click the subscribe, tick the little bell, and let's get this crypto. Moon the likes, ladies and gentlemen. Moon them up. All right, so we'll begin with our Bitcoin technical analysis. And of course, before we begin, this is not investment advice. This is not trading advice. These are only my own opinions, ideas, and speculative hypotheses on the market. Always do your own research and your own due diligence before investing or trading, as this market is extremely high risk, and I am not your financial advisor. I will never tell you what to do with your trades or investments. That being said, let's begin right here with the bullish perspective. Now, I have been covering this here on the channel for quite some time, so if you are subscribed here, you would already know. But since our bottom there, around 3,800, we have seen quite a bit of choppy action up inside this range, thus creating a potential flag after a flagpole V-shaped recovery, right? And if we are going to see this wind up being a bull flag here, for me, my friends, we really do have to measure this pole all the way up, essentially to the flag. We could do it from the bottom or the top. For now, let's just put it in the middle to give you guys an idea. And that would take us up tentatively towards the $9,000 or $10,000 region. Now, things to consider about this is that we have broken above our old prior high. We have broken above the downward sloping trend line, right? Confirmation number 1 there, confirmation number 2 there. And now, my friends, we are seeing daily candle body closes above the old region of old resistance, potentially now flipping into new support, which is also looking inherently bullish in my opinion. So when we talk about targets now, what we have to discuss is, well, hey, we do have this region up here, which could act as some old resistance, flipping into resistance again, still keeping that lower high trajectory intact, right? We also do have the gap there on the Bitcoin CME futures chart all the way up at 9,060, right? And of course, above all else, we have the halving coming up, which I know every moon boy and their brother is hoping sparks some type of irrational, overly exuberant FOMO, which sends Bitcoin to the moon, right? Now, I completely understand this, and also here, before I forget to show you, I do want to show you guys that on the 4-hour time frame, we still are within the confines here of my very specific channel of potential strength here. Now, you guys will notice that I exclude all of that down there. This is on the 4-hour time frame specifically. And you could see that I like this channel because it really defines tops and bottoms here in terms of areas of support and resistance. And right now, Bitcoin is finding that resistance along the median trend line right in the middle, right? And we could be right now forming a bull flag, okay? Keep in mind, though, we still are inside this channel. So even if we do get a rip up, it's possible, just like we have 3 times inside this channel already. It's possible that if we do test up towards the top that we could face rejection, just as we've done 3 times thus far, right? But right now I just basically wanted to show you guys that we haven't basically topped out at the top of this channel yet. Doesn't mean that we have to, but we are currently just inside the middle of the channel, and we could be forming a bull flag in here on a very micro time frame as well. Let's get this crypto. But it's not all peaches and cream, and we'll start here as well, because my friends, when we're looking for confluences here inside the chart, you have to start to notice momentum shifts, right? And for me right now, it's very important to understand that the RSI has gone into overbought conditions on the 4-hour time frame with that first original pump to our new local high. We went into overbought territory, which already started, signaling the warning bells for me here, because the past several times that we've gone into overbought conditions on the 4-hour time frame, we have seen it coincide with a sell-off, right? I mean, it's just very, very obvious that we've seen a sell-off in the overbought conditions on the 4-hour time frame almost this entire run, and thus far, we have not seen a sell-off here. We've just seen some sideways consolidation into this tentative flag pennant, right? So keep that in mind. We haven't seen a sell-off there. Doesn't have to occur, but we haven't seen it yet. And right now, we are beginning to see tentative bearish divergence here on the 4-hour RSI and essentially there on the 4-hour MACD histogram as well, right? You guys could see the price settled here. Our RSI was higher than with the price settling up here where it is now lower. That is a classic bearish divergence. Will it play out? Only time will tell. I'm just stating that, we've seen a pattern here where going into 4-hour overbought RSI conditions in this very specific structure of which we've been trading in now since essentially around the 20th of March, we've seen a sell-off essentially every single time that we've touched into the 4-hour overbought RSI conditions. This time could always be different. But for me right now, my friends, I am, a little bit wary there of, hey, it's possible that this could just be one little last trap here before another plunge into the crypto abyss. Now, let's discuss if we do fall into the crypto abyss, okay? We're going to go back over now to this potential bearish rising wedge formation. Now, these things, my friends, I mean, they're very subjective, right? I mean, you could draw it many different ways. It depends where you start it. For me here, we have a ton of relative and relevant touch points here along the way, my friends, which if this is to continue here, I mean, it's possible that it could take us all the way up towards our gap target around 9,000, right? I mean, it's possible that this really could run all the way up there and then decide it wants to break down. But that's more of a speculative type of, wishful thinking or hopeful thinking. That's not really what you're looking for when you look at things like this. What you're looking for is break of structure, whether that's going to go dramatically to the upside through this resistance line here, or a break below it and forming new lower lows on a macro level, right? Below this one here around 6,800, and then really again there below 6,500, falling out of this structure below old higher lows, thus creating new lower lows for the first time in this trend, would be a confirmation of, hey, it's possible that this was a rising wedge here and that we are beginning to break down to confirm potentially much lower price action. Let's get this crypto. Keep that on your radar, my friends. Keep it on your radar, right? That is a possibility. But we also have to understand that if the upward sloping support remains intact, right, and that we do still see the creation of more higher lows coming into play here, that not only could this structure still maintain its posture here and still potentially be bearish even if the price rises higher. I know that's hard for some beginners to understand. Even if the price continues higher, if it still keeps this structure, this could be a potential bearish pattern still, right? It's not so much about the price, it's more so about the structure. And if we do see that continue, my friends, basically, to negate this structure, as I just stated earlier, what you really want to see is a break above this resistance trend line, right? Still creating higher highs, but what you want to see is a flush break, right? To really just negate this structure in general, okay? And if we are to come back down and test, like I said, we want to see this upward sloping structure maintain its trajectory. And for me, basically, that is looking for some tentative value zones where we could see the price potentially find some new support. Let's go back to my chart here. We'll go to the 4-hour time frame. For me, my friends, basically, I'm monitoring this area here towards the bottom of my channel, right around here, right? And for me, my friends, we could see that we do have some confluence there with old resistance levels possibly becoming new support, all within this region. We would still keep that higher low trajectory intact, and it's possible that just like these where we consolidated and dumped, that we still keep the macro structure on a higher low trajectory, even with a dump here, and then we continue higher up in the trend. Let's get this crypto. I'm just trying to point out all the possible scenarios here, right, ladies and gentlemen? To me, overall, this still looks like a very potentially bearish structure. A V-shaped recovery is generally not what you want to see. That's generally not the healthiest because they generally tend to be short-lived, just as we've seen up here from 14,000. Wrecked, okay? Again here, wrecked. Again here, wrecked. And it goes all the way back, to 2017. V wrecked, V wrecked, V wrecked. You want to see more gradual price action rather than a V shape. These types of carrot stick, crocodile tooth formations, they generally don't last. And for me, I think a pullback in here, it would actually be healthier than just seeing this rise like this. Generally, what goes up that fast can also come down that fast, okay? And we have a ton of potential resistance looming overhead here. If we switch over to the weekly time frame, my friends, it's the moving averages here on the weekly that really are bothering me. We could see that right now we are tapping this 21-week moving average, which has been such a prominent indicator in terms of the long-term health of the trend for Bitcoin, dating back to, basically as far back as we can go. Trading above that orange 21, we've been in a bull market. Trading below the orange 21 week, we've been in a bear market that carried us all throughout the 2016 and 27 bull market, all throughout the bear market of 2018, back into the bull market of 2019, and thus far, we've seen the majority of our bearish action here in 2020 trading below the weekly 21-week moving average, where we are testing to right here, right now. Let's get this crypto. So, staying below this, it's possible that we get rejected at it, just as we've been rejected at it many times in the past, right? Which has led to further downside action. So just another thing to throw in. Could that be a bull trap? We don't have confirmation that we're above it. So yes, in my opinion, this still could be another indicator to just pay attention to, because it's possible that the bears are going to stick in some heavy sell pressure around this range. Okay, well, let's get this crypto. Now, I think that we've covered, let's actually look at let's just go to the BLX quickly. Let's just look at the monthly. I just want you guys to understand where we could be there as well. When we look here on the monthly chart quickly, we could see that obviously we had our capitulation and a slow recovery. When we take our trend line tool here and we just basically draw a line across to where the top of our candle has been now, I think it's pretty clear to see, my friends, that this is a historic level of equilibrium, rather a potential area of new resistance forming for this trend as a whole, right? It's possible. And if we flip on our Heikin-Ashi candles, which are more so like a moving average rather than the regular price action, you guys can see in 2017, our monthly Heikin-Ashi is just red. Essentially all the way down. Now here, starting back in 2019 through 2020, sure, we had this little blip here, but the price action has resumed very prominently to red. I mean, so for me right now, I'm still not seeing any kind of trend change there in the Heikin-Ashi either, and it really wouldn't be surprising for me to potentially see some lower price action based on that momentum. Let's get this crypto. Of course, anything is possible, and this could turn around right here, right now. But let's also discuss the halving, my friends, because I was talking about this being a potential bull trap, which, I mean, I think that you guys can clearly see why I think that. Also, you could clearly see why I think there's a possibility to get up towards the $9,000 region with that potential bull flag and the CME futures gap that could potentially look to be filled up inside that range, okay? But above all else, right, say that we do hold this region, right? Sure, it would look good from a technical perspective for us to keep creating higher highs, consolidating and moving higher. The problem that I have right now, my friends, is that the halving comes up in about 2 weeks' time, right? And the thing is that it's going to change the mining industry forever. You're going to see a lot of miners shutting down operations simply because it's just no longer profitable for them. Sure, it's going to remain profitable for some companies, some large-scale companies that have very favorable electricity costs, very favorable facilities and hardware, etc. And sure, it will remain profitable for them even if the price moves down from where we're at right now to a certain level, right? Just speculating, don't quote me on this. From what I've seen, it appears that some of the biggest mines will still be profitable even down into the $4,000 region, at least at this point in time. That is always subject to change, okay? But many medium and small-sized mining companies are going to have to shut down their operations forever from this point forward, right? And I think what we could see here, my friends, is that we get possibly a continued drive up in the price, but then basically, I don't want to say manipulation, but essentially helping the hand, if you will, helping the hand of some smaller mining companies close their doors down to just let the big dogs have their day in the sun now by driving this price down into areas that force other miners to shut their machines off. Because if we remain up here, say above 7,600, going up towards 9,000, it's very possible that even with the block reward being cut in half, that a ton of miners still may be profitable at that point in time, right? And just speculating on my behalf, I'm not sure if the biggest players in the game are going to want to share their piece of the pie anymore with smaller scale miners, right? And how could you achieve them having to shut off their machines? Well, you could sell some of your coins, really push the price down hard, essentially force them into the unprofitable zone, and then basically, I mean, just by natural selection, they have to shut off their machines because they can't keep up with the price of mining to the profitability of the coins they're receiving back, right? Let's get this crypto. So, I mean, I'm just speculating here that, I mean, some of the biggest mining players in the game may really look to, you know, help the hand of these smaller miners shut their machines off for good and close their doors, right? Sell their facilities, liquidate their equipment, etc. And, you know, by doing that, could be temporary, right? But they get their job done, they flush the market out, and then they have a stronghold on the mining game, and then they could look to, you know, resume business as usual, and then maybe we start to see the price go back up from there. And it would also make complete sense with a bunch of, you know, for lack of a better term, dumb money entering the space right now, thinking that the halving is some sort of guaranteed moneymaker. Could be. I'm not saying that it won't be. But you have to keep in mind, on the overall, we're still in a bearish structure of lower highs and lower lows. We still, my friends, have not seen the halving come into play yet. So these blocks are still getting double the rewards that they are going to get in about 2 weeks' time, right? Keep that in mind. Things are still healthy from a small scale to mid-size mining facility. Things are still fine for right now, right? They didn't get cut in half yet. And I think that that recipe can potentially lead to a heinous debacle in the price, for those that are not prepared. So right now, my friends, I am preparing for all of these potential scenarios. I may be looking right now to buy a dip. I have some ideas for buying a dip for a potential long play if we are going to see a run up towards that $9,000 gap. I will keep you updated in VIP with all of my entries, exits, targets, positions, etc. If you're not already in my VIP, today is the day. It's time to transform yourself from Average Joe into Savage Joe. Let's get this crypto. I'll see you in VIP right now after this video. And of course, if this is all going to wind up being one gigantic bull trap, my friends, I'm going to look to short it into the crypto abyss and get this crypto while Average Joe and James at the water cooler take that trip to Rec City. It'll be Don Carbonaccio looking to crush it and get this crypto. So my friends, I'll see you in VIP right now after this video. I actually forgot to mention it, but I hope that you guys already did this by now, but if you haven't, if you could leave a thumbs up for the algorithm, it really helps the channel, and I really would appreciate it, my friends. So if you could leave a thumbs up for the algorithm, a comment as well, my friends. Say anything. 1, 2, 3, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Let's get this crypto. Hi, Kirby. Thanks, Kirby. Just anything, my friends. A thumbs up and a comment really goes a long way, so thank you. And if you could as well, my friends, if you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button, tick the little bell, select all. That will give you my notifications when I upload in real time. I do Bitcoin analyses like this nearly on a daily basis, so welcome to the channel. Welcome to the house that Don Carbonaccio built. Hit that subscribe button, tick the little bell, select all. Let's get this crypto. My friends, I will keep you personally updated with all of my trade setup ideas, strategy ideas, etc. in VIP right now after this video. I will see you in VIP right now after this video. Let's get this crypto, and until next time, my friends, the Don has spoken. Be safe, be happy, be healthy. It's your boy, Crypto Kirby. Peace and love, my friends. Curbs.